What a couple of episodes. We've gone into the Speed Force, into musicals, and now we have magic. Well, sort of. Abracadabra's magic is science. Sufficiently advanced science, that is. Welcome to the heart of the stories we tell. My name is Rob, and tonight I will be reviewing Flash, Episode 18, Abracadabra. And like any good magician, he does not reveal his tricks. At least not easily. This is a pretty good episode. It's one of those ones that they're going to leave us on a cliffhanger, and it's one of those ones where they've built up to all season. We have some Savitar, we have some Speedsters, and of course, we have a Time Vault, because that Time Vault is one of the most important places in Star Labs, even when you don't think about it. But alright, let's talk about some magic. So once again, it's stop. Spoiler time. Abracadabra is one of those villains that I enjoy from the comics and from multiple different cartoon incarnations. He's one of those guys that's a bit of a showman and is a bit of a show-off. He's kind of like Joker, but without all the psychopath, well, at least normally, and this time they made him a true serial killer. Now, his trick is that he likes to pretend he's using magic. And remember, in the normal DCU, magic is a just plain out there thing, even if it's not here in the Flash universe. We don't see it often. But he's a magician that's not using magic. He's using sufficiently advanced technology. And that technology in this case has been rewritten as nanotech. And I'm cool with that. Nanotech that lets him teleport and pretty much do whatever. I mean, honestly, him and Mixelplix have a lot of fun trying to make things look like magic even when they're not. I'm glad that we didn't have much Harry going on in this night's episode because there was a lot going on with everyone else. Between Cisco and Vibe, going with Gypsy, and of course the momentary or two of Kid Flash stuff, we really had a lot going on. The main thrust of the B-plot, though, was all about Killer Frost and Dr. Alchemy, both of whom are currently heroes who have that dark streak where they could be villains. I'm not the biggest fan of the idea of her powers turn her evil, and as such we had this ridiculous part where she had to operate on herself through him in order to not use her regenerative properties because, using her meta powers are evil. Just like, how Cisco's meta power or Barry's meta power or every other superhero okay, whatever. On a more interesting note, Cord Industries is where Abracadabra was apprehended this time, and we just had a Cord Industries reference over on Arrow this week as well. I keep hoping that means we're going to get a Blue Beetle reference sooner or later. Come on, Booster Gold and Blue Beetle. Come on, Booster Gold and Blue Beetle. Sorry, a little bit of hopeful thinking. Now, Jesse wasn't really mentioned, but again, the fact that we have multiple speedsters running around and this whole Savitar thing piling up is a little bit on the interesting side, considering what happened in the comic book version with him. Abracadabra was not directly involved in that at all. However, Abracadabra in this knows who everyone is and knows all sorts of history. Why? Because to him it's textbook history. And he's going to use that as his deal to try to get back to where he wants to go. Now, here's the funniest part. He steals stuff to make a time machine, when he could totally have just kind of like egged Barry on, then been like, if you run me to the future, to my time, I will give you all this information. Of course, Gypsy showing up would totally put the kibosh on that, but whatever. It could have worked out that way for him. And of course, for the most powerful speedster ever, we haven't seen Savitar since he got stabbed by by Jesse. I wonder what exactly he's up to. Well, in the meantime, we have Kadabra captured, Joe trying to let him go, and of course, Kadabra double-crossing them, running into the Time Vault, and stealing something that Wells left behind. And, well, by Wells I of course mean Thrawn. Which brings up another interesting point. This is a time travel villain. Shouldn't he be calling the Legends? Considering what they're going through, they could use a speedster's help right about now. And that's 101 comic book writing problems. Once you make people in a joined universe, when things seem to be like lining up to where it would be easier if you called someone for help and don't, that's what we call a plot hole. But I don't want you to think that means that I disliked the episode. In fact, this episode was awesome. In fact, one of the breakaway characters from this show has been Vibe. And of course now Gypsy at his side is pretty awesome. I'm kind of liking that story too. But I want to really think about this for a second. That battle sequence when Abra was trying to get home and they were running around and Kid Flash got knocked off the building, Cisco was thinking with portals. and poofed him to the ground safely. That's just one of those really cool power sets that you don't get to see much. And in a room full of speedsters, teleportation, psychic emanation, and vibrational control is probably the only way you have someone as cool as your main character. Unless you make just another speedster. Let's be honest, we're overloaded with those right now. So all in all, I liked the episode of The Flash. But then we got to the point where, boom, we've captured Kadabra, and then the question, what do we do with him? And if that's not the problem of every superhero show, every comic book, every movie, everything, what do you do with the villain? If you kill the villain, then you're the bad guy. But what do you think? Is there a correct answer? I mean, when villains can escape these prisons, when these prisons can't hold these villains, when they're just so powerful, what is the right answer? And of course, speaking of no-win scenario choices, what do you do when your friend is dying but doesn't want to use her powers? And when did Killer Frost become Wolverine? Alright, well, I'm not looking forward especially to the idea of her being a villain, but maybe we'll finally put the whole her powers are evil behind her and allow us to actually have Killer Frost as a hero. She is in the comics right now. Either way, we have a month to go before the next episode, and it's a time travel one. For now, I'm going to ask you to like, share, and subscribe to my channel to help me build this community so that we can walk through all of the hearts of the stories we tell. Over the course of the next couple of weeks, maybe I'll do a couple of bonus Flash videos. Let me know down in the comments if there's anything specific you want me to cover. In the meantime, I hope you have a good night, and thanks for watching.